Good morning and welcome to another day here on planet Earth. I am your Merry Gardener and this is the Solo Gardener Podcast. We are episode 5 now, and this one is going to be, as you know by the title, it is how I made £1,000 in one day and at the same time saved my client £400, and I did it on my own. I'm going to pop up on my screen here, and I'm basically going to go through the entire process that I went through with my client and the communication that I had with him. I'm going to break down the exact quote that I sent to him and the agreement process. Basically, we are buying trees, and I'll take you through the literally from when it is initiated. Me and the client said, yep, we want to go with this, and then how I went obviously to the supplier, to nursery generally for traders, but I think everyday public can go there and buy stuff as well. Well, they definitely can, but it is a big trade place for traders. And this is where you will be making, within a job like this is where you'll make your majority, well, let's say £700 of profit on just a £200 labour job. So I made more money, way more money on the plants than I did on the labour, and in the same process I saved my client £400, over £400, and I'm going to go through it with you now. So I'm going to pull this up, and it basically started. This was beginning of this year, so you can see the date, 15th of January. So basically, my client, really good client, he's brought loads of plants over and many trees in the past couple of years, and he's had a massive building project happen next door to him, which is a massive house, and it's just bam right up in his view, and he really doesn't like it. And he's mentioned to me a few times, and I've said to him, yeah, we can sort this out, we can do it, tell me when you're ready. He said he wasn't sure whether we wanted to do it right now, and he's basically sat on it. I think he wanted to wait until the building was complete until he fully decided. So I was like, no pressure, I didn't say no pressure, but I actually put no pressure on him to go forward with this job, knowing that this could be a profitable job for me. I'm a very no pressure kind of guy, but I do make him aware I can do it and I can save him some money. So he knows that basically if he went to the store, to the nursery to buy them himself, he would pay way more than he went through me, because the way it works is you will get a trade price, and that your trade price will vary. So basically we get a discount. That's what the trade price is. You get a trade discount. It will vary depending on nurseries. So if you are going to, I use 3 nurseries at the moment. I've got 2 local and I've got one that's about a half-hour drive. The half-hour drive one I go to because they give me the most discount, and it is ever so worth it to drive that extra half hour. So it's an hour drive there and back, so 30 there, 30 back, but it is well worth it because they gave me 50% off, and if I pay up front, they will give me another 7% off, and that's only on plants. So I'm getting 57% off all of plants. So what I want you to imagine, if someone buys a plant for £1,000, I'm just going to go 50 because it's easier to work out. You are only paying £500. Your client will be paying £1,000. You have to bear in mind all the prices when you go to the nursery, they are subject to VAT. So when you see on the label it says £1,000, you will actually be paying £1,200. So you need to make that aware to the client if you are, because what I'm going to show you, I take pictures of everything, the prices, and I'm completely open and honest with the client. This is what you will be paying, and if I need to tell them that there's going to be VAT on top. Anyway, so I'm going to go through the text process. So we already know he's going with this. And he's asked me to go and take some pictures, or I've suggested I'll go and take some pictures and then put some options to you. Because at this stage, I don't know how much he wants to spend. He hasn't made it very clear exactly how much he wants to spend, but I know he has spent money in the £500, £600, £400 range of plants before, so I know roughly. So I'm going to give him prices in the £1,000 range, going back down to 300. And I'm going to take just a few of those ideas. He wanted evergreen, and he wasn't 100% sure what he wanted, but it had to be evergreen, and they had to be 3 meters. So let's go through this text now. Hi Paul, I've been to the supplier. I'll send over photos and prices this evening. Thumbs up. So here we are. I've sent these. It's in a cluster here, but I'm going to show you them individually. Hi Paul, all prices are plus VAT, but I can give you that 20% discount. I can give you that 20% discount. So I'm basically saying to him, you don't actually have to do this, but this is a good client of mine, so I know that he will appreciate that, and he'll keep coming back to me. And he knows that if he goes, he's gonna have to pay that 20%. Or if he goes for me, he's not paying it. And the reason I'm giving that means I still get 30% profit, plus the 7. So I get 37% profit on all of these plants. So as soon as he gives me the deposit in my bank and I pay them for those plants, whatever's left is mine to keep. So this actually makes it easier for me to work it out, because I'm giving him a 20% discount, which is the VAT, which is what they will charge you. The prices on the labels are without VAT. So it's a lot easier for me to go to him. That is the price you are paying on the label. So if you want to select what you want, add it all up, that is what you will pay. And and I've made it very clear to him that he's saving 20% going through me, but he can only do that going through me or someone that uses Provender. If you're on Spotify, I'm trying to describe what I'm showing you, but if you want to see it, this is video and you can go on YouTube and see it. So I'm showing you a picture here of evergreen. This one particularly is a Photinia, and it's at £300. So that is on the lower end of the trees. That is a really cheap tree, Photinia Red Robin, and it's got a main stem. They're called standards. They go up, and one big stem that goes up to the height of your fence normally, and then you've got the bush at the top. And that's what he was looking for. He wanted the height above the fence to block out the building that's just been built next to him. So I'm very clear, because when he asked me, I want a tree, I have to know exactly what his goal is, what he's trying to achieve, so I know what to find, because there are so many options out there. So I know he's evergreen, which I said before, and I know he's trying to block the window. You can also go for, this actually might be pleached actually. Pleached is a term used for when they have trained the tree into a square. So then what actually happens is you buy multiples of those, and you can create like a hedge kind of style if you put them all together, and it's like a privacy kind of block above the fence. Very, very popular for people who like their privacy. Here you go, look, so there's pleached again. This one's coming in at 1,000. So this is on the higher end. And this, I think this is a magnolia. Yeah, magnolia. So I love the magnolias, and they flower. If that was my place, I'd be buying them bad boys if I had the £1,000s to buy. He wants possibly 2. Well, at this stage, we don't know. He hasn't told me. I've just put the options out there. I guess he wants to fill the space, so at least 2, 3, maybe 4. I'm not going to go through them all. Look, there's one there for £750. There's some different shapes. There's a cone shape here, because at this stage, I still don't know what he wants. So I don't want to give him too many options. I think I've given him like 4 or 5 options. And so we've got a £600 price, we've got a £450, and I've just then emailed them all those pictures, and I've put them together with the price. So I've got the picture and the price next to it. One thing I didn't do is put the heights, but I didn't take any pictures of anything below 3 meters. So he does ask me about that. Okay, so prices for you. This is what I'm explaining everything very clearly to him, so he knows what so he doesn't have to ask too many questions to me. So he knows clearly what's going on. So the prices for you will be seen on label. This is what I've sent him in the text. Plus labour to plant and compost, which won't be much, because I know the labour to plant potentially his 4-ish trees is going to be half a day. Some of them don't have height measurement So I measured every one individually, just in case he asked. Some of them don't have height measurements, but I have got them written down. Thanks, Pete, I'll take a look. So I just got to check the time. Okay, I got 20 minutes. And I also wanted to explain to him, on the label, it says, where it says stem height. If you ever see it says stem height, for some reason they don't put the actual height on some of them, which is quite annoying because I have to get the measuring tape and measure it. But when it says stem height, that is the height up to where the leaves start. And generally that's 6 foot because most people have 6 foot fences. So it will say 1.8 meters. Is up to where the leaves start. Most of them are between 3 meters and 350. A couple are 3.8 and one is 4 meters. So I gave him roughly, so they're all above 3, some are 3.5 and up to 4. So I'm just giving him all the information so that he can make a decision, because I want him to make a decision so we can get this booked in and do the job. So I think we like the, you have to excuse me if I get the names of these wrong because these are Latin names. Eliagnus, I think, and Ebiangier. I literally can't pronounce that one. And the Prunus. I'm not even going to try. But hey ho, one of them is a Portuguese laurel, I think. But I don't like the Latin names because it fries my brain. They were both, I said to him they were both around about 3 meters high. Then I've sent him some pictures of rocks because he wanted some rocks for the front verge. Thanks, Peter. We'll speak to Han and come back on the stones. So has he told me he wants 2 of? I can't remember. Did I miss that bit? So he said, thinking of 2 and 1 of the Prunus. You think that will be enough to fill the space, or 2 and 2? So I don't like to push people to spend more money if they don't want to. And I'm not there. I can't see the space really. I haven't got a measuring tape. And I go with the kind of the lower end. I'm not a pushful guy, and I don't want him to think that I'm trying to push him into making the decision to buy 4 when he might not need them. So I've said, look, should be okay 2 and 1, but you could always add another later if you think it needs to. Or 2 and 2 could be more even and balanced, which is just my personal opinion, and it makes sense. And then, so he's chosen the rocks. I think 6 of these big ones should be the trick. And then, what's he put? Let me look at the space again and come back on this. So he's talking about the space. So this is the 16th of January. And he's thinking about the space. So he doesn't get back to me for 10 days. And I'm thinking, come on, guy. I want to get this done and booked in. So I give him the width because he's thinking about space. So he wants to know what that width is. So he hasn't asked for it, but I'm going to give it to him anyway because it does actually say 120 width on the Eliagnus. And he's got a picture of the space, so you can see what he's trying to cover. He's trying to cover that building. Let me zoom in. There's the building he's trying to cover. And we've got to move a few plants here to sort that out as well. So I'm thinking maybe 2 and 2. So this is 5 days, no, 10 days later. I'm just going, is he gonna go with this or not? And I haven't spoke to him, I haven't pushed him, I've probed him or anything. I've just left it with him. I've just cracked on with my work and said, he'll get back to me when he's ready. So then he's come back to me and said, I'm thinking maybe 2 and 2. I'm like, yes, I like 2 and 2. More money in my pocket. Okay, so, but need to redistribute existing plants first. Yep, that's not a problem. Or maybe only ones along the fence, not at the front. LMK, what you think? I don't know what's LMK? Don't know, maybe can someone enlighten me on what that means? Oh, let me know. Let me know what you think. Of course it is. Yeah, that sounds logical. So this is me saying move the fence ones. That's fine. Leave the ones at the front. Okay, shall send over. So this is me saying to him now, I'll send over a full quote of all the items, including the rocks and the compost. Yes, please. I'll do this evening. So people want to know exactly what they're paying before they pay, and they want it all written down so it's clear and there's a price They know what they need to do to move forward. I've also put on the invoice our deposit number because I am not ordering this until he pays the full amount for the plants. And then we can move forward. So I say all that on the invoice. So he's agreed that. I want to show you the quote. So I do a quote and I do it through I've got a diary app, which is called Jobber, which I pay for online. And I do all my invoices. I do all my quotes. I do literally print out anything I want. I can organize where I'm going. I can organize if I've got staff on board, I can link them in. It's amazing. Get Jobber. There's the logo. There's the website. It's about £34 a month, and it is a lifesaver. I would never ever go back to a handwritten diary. This is such a time saver. And the main thing, my number one thing I like with Jobber is I can finish a job while I'm still on the driveway. I will go click, 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 send invoice. Before I've left the property, that invoice gets sent. And that means I get paid faster. And once they're all logged onto the system, your clients, you literally are doing like 5 or 6 clicks and it gets sent in email. You can even now do collect payment via Jobber. You can do reminders. So many things. I don't utilize all of the stuff they use, but it is amazing. I love it. Anyway, let's find to this invoice. Quote, sorry. This is the quote. It's a detailed quote, okay? So it's got my logo on it. It looks really professional. I've itemized every single thing. So the 2 things he wants, the compost, the tree. I've even described what I'm going to do. So it's very clear what the job entails from start to finish. The plants are being delivered, so I don't have to pick up the plant, so that won't be on the description. But I am replanting existing shrubs. This I'm reading from the quote here. From back fence, clearing the space for 4 new trees. And then I've put supply and plant 2 of this tree, 2 of this tree. And I've added extra plant food and compost. And then what have I put? Lay. Oh yeah, lay. Lay 6 long stone rockery stone at the front, evenly spaced, tidy and take away rubbish. And then I've put the full cost, which is basically, let's have a look, of all those items, itemized, individually priced. And then I have put the full price. So he will be paying me $2,335. And I have asked him to pay the deposit. And the deposit is literally the full cost of materials. In this case, it's generally the trees and a few other bits, which is $2,135. This job will not be put into the diary until that is paid. And as soon as that's paid, I will go straight to the supplier and I will pay for those plants, and I'll let him know. And I'll show you my communication with him. So I've sent the invoice via Jobber. He's asked me, he's already said go ahead. Actually, I think I put that here. So he's seen the invoice here and he's saying, for some reason it keeps clicking, come off. Okay, that's fine, Pete, thanks. When do you think is the best time? When warms up a bit or any time? So he's agreed and he wants to go ahead. Got to check on the time. He wants to go ahead. So I've said any time, but I'll check my diary. Also, would advise we order trees ASAP in case they sell out. So I wouldn't normally say that, but because it's been 1 week and a half, I was concerned, maybe, is it the 15th, 10? Yeah, we're coming up to a week and a half now since I've taken those pictures, and they may get sold. It's a big place. Generally, they'll have other stuff, but it's nice to actually buy the ones I took pictures of, so he knows exactly what he's getting. Excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee, so good. Okay, so I've said any time. To be honest, you can plant anytime. Maybe if there's frost on the ground, I might wait till it melts before I plant. But generally, I knew the weather. We'd already had a frost and it had cleared. So pretty much we're good to go. So now I'm telling them exactly when I'm available. So I've got a week on Monday free, the 5th of Feb, but might need to be flexible on that depending on deliveries. So I can't give him a date until I've brought the plants, till he's paid the deposit and I've brought the plants and I've got a date. I can give him a rough idea. So I said I'm free around the 5th, which was about a week from here. And so I'm just checking if he's okay with that. Then we'll relay that to the supplier and then hopefully we can pin that date down. And I've also made it flexible, say we possibly may want to move things around. And he's like, okay, cool, works for me. Okay, if you transfer the deposit, I need to take, because I need to prompt him to do it. Because I've got to tell him, even though I've put it on the invoice, I'm like, we can't get the ball rolling. I need to let him, we can't get the ball rolling until that deposit is paid. So, okay, I'm very clear, if you transfer the deposit, I'll order first thing on Monday. So deposit comes in, I'll order. So he knows me. I've been working with him for years. I bought many plants for him, so this is a normal procedure for him. It's not a problem. So he's given me a muscle emoji. I don't know why. And then he's gone, oh, sorry, wrong emoji. We have a bit of banter. Anyway, done, transferred. Cool, so he's transferred. Brilliant. Okay. I was just being a bit of banter here with him. I've said, okay, what was the emoji about? I was curious about what emoji. He was supposed, no, he said he sent the wrong emoji, but he didn't tell me what emoji it was. So I was just having a bit of banter and said, okay, well, if it wasn't that, what was the emoji? Which I thought was quite funny. Anyway, so he does reply to that, but I'm going to dive into the invoice because I've now been to Provinder, which if you live anywhere near Swanley, I suggest you go and check it out because it's an amazing place and you need to get yourself signed up as a trader. You need to prove that you're a trader. You have a website, you have a business card or something like that, and then they will approve you and they will give you a little card. I'll show you my little card. So if you're on Spotify, you won't be able to see this, but look, Provinder right at the front of my wallet, gold, and on the back of there is my barcode, which they scan every time I go in and buy plants. They scan it and that gives me my 50% off. So there's the address. If you want to go there and check it out, go there, sign yourself up if you live nearby. If not, if you don't live nearby, then you need to find one and you need to get either find out if they got a trade price, and if they you want 40-50%, that's what you want to aim for, and you can negotiate. I have currently got 2 local nurseries that I use. One is 40% and the other one's 15%. I haven't tried to actually ask for more percent off the other one because I'm quite happy to use that one, but I could probably approach the other one. Ironically, they are opposite each other. They are like in competition with each other, but clearly they know giving traders 40% is going to make them want to go there more. Although the other one is bigger, I don't understand the concept of that. Maybe if I went and asked, I haven't asked yet because I haven't really needed to. But here we go. Okay, so literally it says on there all the prices. So the ones he chose were $4.50 each, and they've now, the discount is on there, $2.25 each for me. So the total for 2 quantity, as you can see there, is $4.50. So that's the discount on there. And then on here you will see, and if I pay on the day, that right up front, because I guess some traders won't pay for 3 months, but if you pay there and then, they will give you another 7% off. And this sundries, that means rocks, compost, anything that's not plants is classed as sundries. I think it's 10% off, so you get a little bit off that as well. So by the end of it, my full price I'm paying is $1,339.32. So I've done a few little calculations down here just so you can clearly see how this is making you lots of money, and it's a really good strategy going forward. Client pays $2,135 for the trees. This is the deposit that he's paying me. Okay, and then I go to the supplier and I pay 1,139 and 32p. So if you do the calculation, 2,135 minus that, it will give you 795 and 68p. That is what's going in my pocket. That is my profit. Okay. So by the end of the completion of job, I get another £200 for labour, because it's like a half-day job. I actually did more on that job. I gave him extras because I was like, he was a good client and I knew I was making a lot on the plants, so I gave him some extras. I cut a bit of a hedge back, I did a bit of weeding and stuff. So by the end of it, I actually made not quite 1,000, but I was 995 and 68p. So I was like, what's that, £5 off £1,000 for a day's work. But also the key thing here, I'm not ripping any off. I've saved my client money, and a substantial amount of money. If my client goes to the store, which he is free to do, it's open to the public, he will pay 2,135, which was what he paid me, plus the VAT. So his final cost, if he went there himself, he would pay £2,562, but he didn't pay that because he went through me and I gave him a 20% discount because I know I had 57% to play with. So he now benefits going through me. I've saved him money. And how much have I saved him? If you go 2,000, I do the calculation here, you can see on the screen, 2,562 minus 2,135, which is what he paid. He basically has saved £427. I've saved him that money because he's coming through me. This is the leverage you got. Anyway, so we're back to the text. He said about his emoji, it was supposed to be a boring thumbs up. Ha ha. Give him a rock and roll emoji. Okay, I just got to check something there. Okay, all booked in for delivery for the 5th. I'll be there first thing to do the prep. So then I'm just making sure I'm communicating with him very quickly if he's asking any questions. Morning, Pete. We're just checking we're still okay. So this is probably a Sunday or something for Monday. Yep, got a phone call yesterday with delivery time, between 10 and 12. I'll be there for 9 a.m. Big thumbs up. And it turned out that delivery was there literally, it got there before I got there. And it was like 9 in the morning. So it was like amazing. And yeah, the job went really well, really successful. And plants are in. I've tied them all up to the fence so they're not blown because it was quite a windy day. Successful job. So the main message here is you need to get into plant buying. I know some of you might be newbies, you might be inexperienced with plant names and stuff like that, but go with your client. What does your client want? Ask them what they want. Take all that information they give you, and even if you don't know, you don't have to have the answers in your head. You can say to them, I will go and have a look and I'll take some pictures of some options for you. And even if you still don't know when you get there, take all those questions that your client has given you and then say to the nursery staff, especially in provender, they're very helpful. You can say to them, look, my client has asked for this. Have you got any suggestions? Yes, follow me. Blah, blah, blah. And take the pictures with the suggestions. And then you're learning through that process. You don't have to have the knowledge of every single plant in the world to then make a decision. You can take all those questions and then find someone else to get those answers for you. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. I think that covers everything. Let me close that. I hope that was helpful for you, because I know when I started, I didn't have a lot of confidence in buying plants, but you kind of have to dive in a little bit. You have to go into it at some point with that little bit of fear of failure, with that little bit of imposter syndrome. You have to just kind of push through that, because once you go through that process, you get more familiar with plants and it becomes less scary. I know some of you probably listening to this, you're already doing this. It's amazing. But you might have to search around. You might have to approach and speak to people within the nurseries and see what kind of discount you get. Figure out the process of getting the discount, because there is a process they follow. They don't just go, yeah, you're a trader, give it to you. You kind of have to prove it. So you have to figure out what is their process. They might have a different process from another nursery. So ask them, what is the process? Okay, you need to have this in place. So it might be a website, it might be a business card. I don't know what it is, because they're all different. But you need to do that with a few, 2, 3, and see which ones are giving the best discounts, because they're not always doing the same. Right, people, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have found super value from that.